Yo, 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 we are back another week. It's the Goodfellas Podcast. It's your boy Dougie. I got A Will with me. I got five. Week one NFL opening week is in the books. How y'all feeling, man?
It was an exciting week, actually. A lot of good games, a lot of competitive games, some revenge games.
Facts.
No, it was a good week. Good week one.
All right. Hey, Will, how you feel about it?
It was interesting. Very interesting.
All right. So we just gonna start off with what everybody's been talking about. Antonio Brown. He's been, our last 4 or 5 episodes, we've been talking about AB at some point.
Dude got more features than Wayne in
In '08, yeah.
in 08.
So what did that happen? Was it Friday?
It was released on
Was it
Saturday.
Saturday. So Saturday, Antonio Brown ends up he posts on Instagram basically telling the Raiders to release him, right? They fined him, and with them finding him, his guaranteed money was no longer guaranteed. So he basically on Instagram told them, hey, release me. They granted his wish. They released him. And within, I'd say, maybe a couple hours, he agreed to sign with the New England Patriots. The rich get richer, but what we have just found out, this is like breaking news, Goodfellas style. Antonio Brown has been accused of 3 separate incidents of sexual assault and rape, according to a federal lawsuit filed on today by a young woman who he went to Central Michigan with, and whom he later hired as his trainer. 3 separate incidents, 2 in May of 2017, and then actually 2 in June of 2017, and then the most recent one was in May of 2018. Not the way you want to go into the season.
Making it to the season.
Man, like, so, I don't know, he's got a lot he's dealing with, but I mean, hey, one thing I can say since he's been, said he's going to be in New England, we haven't seen any social media posts. So I think they nipped that in the bud. What are y'all reflections on the whole, how everything went down in Oakland? Like, what are y'all reflections on, y'all takes on how management handled it, and how Antonio Brown handled the situation?
Well, I'll start off with Antonio. I mean, I feel like he handled it entirely wrong. A lot of social media presence. You didn't even talk about how he had a whole 2-3 minute video releasing a conversation that he had with Gruden about the whole ordeal. He also did a public apology to the team before he learned that they fined him and that his guaranteed money wouldn't be. So to me, it was a lot of just mixed emotions. And we talked about this, right, when we learned that the whole helmet situation was about endorsements, right? Well, I did. I learned that it was a lot about money with Antonio Brown. And I still feel that way. I feel like him signing with the Raiders was all about money. It was not about him wanting to play for the Raiders, wanting him to be a leader for the Raiders. I felt like it was all about the money because Pittsburgh wouldn't just outright give it to him. And there's triggers for everything, and I 100% get it. But at the same time, a team like the Raiders, who has kind of been down in the dumps last couple of years, they're looking for some leadership. They're looking for a real proven vet to come into their organization and kind of make a stamp on it and really kind of take them over the hump, in which they haven't been able to get over the past few years. And of course, a coach like John Gruden, who's dealt with a lot of different personalities over his coaching career, they really relied on him being able to kind of control it, and he couldn't. And I think in the end run, I think he never really wanted to play for the Raiders. He never wanted to pour his heart into it. was just they're willing to give me the most money type deal. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna play for the money. It's the difference between wanting to play for a team and wanting to play for the money. Just like how we say Carmelo Anthony stuck with the Knicks for the money, I feel like he signed with the Raiders for the money. But, I mean, you end up in New England over 2 seasons, the contract that they gave him, he's going to make that money back. But Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp, Uncle Sharp said, if I had to put my money on he's going to be there for a full year, or if he's not going to be there for a full year, I will put my money on he will not be there for a full year because he won't be able to act accordingly. And we know how the Patriots roll. We know how they roll. Short leash over there.
All right. Hey, Will. Your newest,
So Antonio Brown didn't want to play for Pittsburgh. He asked to be traded. The Patriots tried to trade for him in March. They actually gave Pittsburgh the best deal. Pittsburgh turned it down. Of course, they didn't want to trade AB to their biggest rival. So they traded him to Oakland. Do I think he wanted to be in Oakland as opposed to being in New England? No. Do I think he went to Oakland and sabotaged his stay there in Oakland? No. At first I did, but then once I saw the interview with the guy that recorded the video that was put out with him with the sound bite of John Gruden basically saying like, get your shit together,
right,
come on, play. When he broke down the whole transaction of how all that transpired, the Raiders didn't want Antonio Brown. I've said this, Mike Mayock didn't want Antonio Brown at Oakland. John Gruden wanted Antonio Brown at Oakland. And so when you have a coach that's making $10 million a year and you have a GM that's newly hired and wants to run the team the way he wants to run the team, you probably gonna have some button heads. They probably didn't agree on it. They traded for him. They gave him the money. They gave him the money just because they were fearful that he wouldn't play if he didn't have guaranteed money, because that's what he told Pittsburgh. So they probably felt like they had no choice. But as the gentleman was breaking down in the video, in the interview, the video was originally supposed to be a promo for Monday Night Football. But everything started to take place, and they kind of put a pause on it. They halted it. Like Antonio Brown was like, wait. And some things he shared that he found out, like, he was on the phone before he even was talking to John Gruden. He was talking to Drew Rosenhaus on the phone. John Gruden called. They just, clicked over, connected, and then they was talking. Gruden had, that whole thing. But what happened was, like, even the incident with Mike Mayock, like when him calling him a cracker and threatening to punch him in the face, the guy said all of that was false.
okay.
He said Antonio Brown's wife is white. I never knew she was white.
The more you know.
So he was like, I would never, he was there at practice. That's what the guy was saying. He was there at practice. That didn't happen at all. And he was like, Antonio Brown felt like the Raiders didn't have his back. Like they was letting all this stuff come out, and they were saying they supported him. But Antonio Brown felt like they really didn't support him. They really didn't have his back because they was just letting all this come out, all this false information, and they weren't saying anything. The other thing that he said was Antonio Brown was told by the Raiders not to come to practice on Wednesday. And then when he came back on Thursday, everybody was like, welcome back. And he was like, Antonio was walking around like, what do you mean welcome back? Y'all told me not to show up on Wednesday. So I just think it's always like more to the story. It's two sides. And of course, there's still the truth. I think if you just listen to what the media tells you, Antonio Brown is a bad guy. If you hear other people's side of it, I don't know. Like that dude was following him. He was doing a documentary. And then they spent it a whole different way. Antonio Brown got what he wanted in the end. He wanted to be in New England from day one.
So with him being in New England, how does he fit?
Perfect.
So you think he's gonna be there for the whole year?
Absolutely.
All right.
I mean, think about it. They had Corey Dillon. Corey Dillon was there for a year. They had Albert Haynesworth. Albert Haynesworth didn't make it to the year, but Albert Haynesworth showed up to camp out of shape. Like Albert Haynesworth kicked himself off the team. They had Randy Moss. Randy Moss made it. They had Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco. He made it a year. Brandon Lloyd made it a year. Like Antonio Darrell Reeves made it a year. Antonio Brown will make it a year. Whether he makes it after a year, that's up to him and how he performs and what he does. Will they just I don't think Antonio Brown is going to go to the New England Patriots and be this guy that's going to do whatever he wants to do and do this and do that. Like, Antonio wants to win a ring. Antonio wants to go down as one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game. He knows what people are saying about him. If anything, that's just more motivation. And to actually have people behind you that believe in you and support you, I think that has something to say for how you perform when you get to a team. And I just think, like Gronkowski said on the Shop episode, like over in New England, there is no stars. Like, everybody is treated the same. So when he gets over there, he was there Monday, but he was officially there Tuesday. When he goes in there and he realizes, like, Tom Brady is treated like a regular dude, he'll realize, like, I can't get away with the stuff I was getting away with in Pittsburgh.
And I want to add in on to that, this is going to be his first time on a team where it's a luxury to have Antonio Brown, but as we saw on Sunday night, New England looked like a well-oiled machine, right? So they don't necessarily need him. You know what I'm saying? But it helps.
I mean, I wouldn't say that they don't need him. He makes them more dangerous.
I mean, more dangerous, but they were the favorites to win it.
They weren't the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Kansas City was the favorites to win the Super Bowl without.
We know, though.
I mean, we know, but
New England was second, though. New England was second.
Right.
At the end of to say they don't, could they get to the Super Bowl without him and win? Yes. Does having Antonio make them that much more dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. Does it make them that much more unbeatable, unstoppable? Yes. Now the biggest thing is they still have to find out how they're going to use him. Mm-hmm. That's where the mastermind of Bill Belichick is going to be put to work. How do you use him? How do you continue to use Edelman? How do you continue to use Josh Gordon? You got James White still. You still got Sony Michel. What do you do? Like, I mean, Ben Watson's going to come back as a tight end. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you have an embarrassment of riches, but at the same token, you have to be able to keep everybody eating and happy. You know, like, will he be okay with only catching 98 passes?
So that's what Shannon Sharp was talking about. So Shannon Sharp broke some numbers down. He said in 4 years at Pittsburgh, he's had one game of less than 5 targets. That could happen in New England. And it can happen on consecutive weeks. And we've heard him in Pittsburgh flat out say, Ben didn't throw the ball to me enough. Because he's flat out came out in the media and said that on a couple times. I didn't get enough targets this game. Ben didn't throw it to me enough times. Can he take that in New England? Because he's not going to have double-digit targets every game. They said he's got more targets than 3 other teams' receivers combined in the last 2 or 3 years. That's how many targets he's had over the last 2 or 3 years. Can he take it in New England?
I think he'll be able to do it, man. I think, a lot of people think he won't be able to do it, but I mean, winning cures everything. Like, cures everything. And he knows he's playing with, Ben Roethlisberger was pretty damn good. But we talking about Tom Brady, right? The GOAT. So, I think just him trusting the system and trusting, Bill Belichick and trusting in Brady, he's going to be able to sacrifice because he's going to have to. He's not going to have a choice. But, and these are guys around him that are already proven. So he's not going in there playing with some guys that really, Edelman has been there, been in big games before. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is proven already that, hey, we've been able to get this done. This is how we do it. If you want to be on this team and you want to win a championship, this is where you fall in line.
So I mean, check it. Just look at it like this. Philip Dorsett Sunday had 4 receptions, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. Julian Edelman had 6 catches, 83 yards. Josh Gordon had 3 catches, 73 yards. James White had 5 catches, 56 yards. Rex Burkhead had 5 catches, 41 yards, right? So even if you just remove Philip Dorsett and replace Philip Dorsett with Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown has a 4-catch game for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns, Antonio Brown will not walk out of that game upset. He will not. If he has 3 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown, he's not going to walk out of that game upset. Like that, I mean, that's the
I've
thing.
seen him do it, though. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, but those are games where they're probably losing, they probably lost. Those are games where, you know, it's you're looking at a completely different dynamic from Pittsburgh to New England. Like in Pittsburgh, it was just him and Le'Veon Bell for a couple years. I don't even know who their second receiver. Well, Martavius Bryant, but he couldn't stay out of trouble, so he wasn't on the field consistently. So you really didn't know who their second receiver was. In the past 2 years, he had Juju Smith-Schuster. The first year Juju was there, like Juju was up and down. He wasn't who he was last year. So if I'm AB and I'm the best receiver on the team, like it's like, yeah, if we want to win, throw me the ball, especially in the games where Le'Veon ain't playing. And then last year, I mean, you know, Juju, a lot of people will say Juju benefited from AB being there getting a double team. That's why he had the season that he had. But Juju was, to me, he was coming out. He was coming up. He was showing his worth. And so now you're fighting that battle where it's like, I'm the guy, but we got another guy that's just as good as me. What's the rapport? And then you think about all the things that was cooking in the pot in Pittsburgh. All the things that was being done. All the things that was being said. So it's like, yeah, I got to get mine because maybe he had the mentality, I had to get mine because I know they don't really care about me. In New England, I think it's going to be a completely different scenario. I mean, and if you look at New England's running game. Their best running back had 15 carries for 14 yards, and they still won by 30 points.
Look at their schedule.
I mean, they run a 3 running back system though. Like he's not gonna. I mean, he only played 1 more snap than Burkhead.
But that's because he wasn't being productive. That's what I'm saying. In New England, if you're not productive that game, they just go to the next person.
Can he take that?
But
One game he's not productive.
But I don't think he will have a game where he's not.
Look at that schedule, man.
I don't think Antonio Brown is going to have a game where he's not productive because it's going to be hard for a defense to scheme around Josh Gordon on one side, Edelman in the slot somewhere, and Antonio Brown. Like, who do you double team? Where do you send your best corner? Where do you send safety help? Where do you send linebacking help?
I agree with everything you're saying. Everything you're saying. But there's going to be some games where he's going to have the double team, or they're going to shadow him a lot of the games. He's still the best receiver that they have.
I mean, they do that.
It's not like he's not going to be seeing, double coverage, shaded coverage. He's still going to be seeing that.
But the difference is the system now. You're dealing with Mike Tomlin. Obviously, didn't have control over that locker room.
Oh yeah,
so
we all know he lost.
That's what I'm saying. It's a huge difference now. You trusting in somebody that's won 6 championships. So even if they doubling on you and y'all winning by 3 touchdowns, it's a little bit different.
I mean, he's still gonna get his targets. It's just like Antonio Brown may start the game off right. He may get 2 targets. He may have 1 catch for a touchdown, and he may take that joint 65 yards. Because he has the breakaway speed to do that. Like, we've seen that. Or he might just have 1 deep pass, and he catches it, and that's touchdown, 65 yards, right? And then he just, and he has the ability to move around. Like, that's the thing. Antonio isn't the type of receiver where he only plays on the outside.
One-trick pony.
He could play on the inside. They could stack him and Julian, like, they could really stack Josh, Julian, and Antonio all on the same side. Then what do you do as a defense? Like, you're stuck. Like that. So you can, as a defense, you can say, we're gonna follow this man, we're gonna double cover, and then New England, they go to the sideline and they say, okay, we're gonna run this play. Boop. And they put everybody on one side and they say, pick your poison. and you really got to decide who you gonna stick with, and you got to pick fast. And you get time to realize who got the single coverage, who gonna be open, who doing what. You cancel Christmas.
So keep going with the Patriots. That game against Steelers, 33-3. What was more impressive, the dominance of the Patriots or the shit performance of Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh didn't have a shit performance. The Patriots' defense is that good.
Tom talked about it.
And they don't get no credit. And I've said that the Patriots will probably have a top 2 defense this year, period. Write it down.
A lot different from last year.
They started right there wrong.
They was a top 5 defense last year. They always a top defense as far as points is concerned. Yards they're gonna give up because half the time they winning and teams just throw the ball. And they let you get down the field and they stop you. This defense now, I don't know if they're going to let you get down the field.
This defense now is way better than last year, though.
Yeah, well,
way
better.
Because during the regular season last year, a lot of people were talking about how skeptical that defense was.
Hell yeah.
It ain't. Tom Brady wasn't giving this type of recognition to the defense.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got better at
last year.
The Super Bowl was their best game defensively last year. The Super Bowl was their best game on defense last year. And they got better, and then they just showed that in week 1. Because they wasn't balling like this.
They gave up, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of their big games, they gave up a lot of points. A lot of points to Kansas City. They gave up a ton of points to the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some games they gave up a ton of points. The defense was not as good as it was this year. And Tom talked about it. They said they interviewed Tom. They said they thought their offense was shitty because in defense, the receivers couldn't get open. And they was like, what is going on? Is it us not clicking? And then they come to find out in preseason that, no, the defense is actually that good. And, it's not that our offense is that bad. It's our defense has improved that much. So, I mean, I really think that their defense really, and then also, let's be 100% clear. The Steelers still have to get used to not having Antonio Brown on the field. Like, that Juju is the number 1 option now. They got James Washington as the number 2. They got Moncrief, who dropped 3 passes, 2 touchdowns. And they still got to get used to relying on James Conner. And James Conner only played 44% of the snaps. So they're still trying to find out their run game too. They don't have Le'Veon anymore. So they got to get used to that. So, but the Steelers are always a bad away team. If you follow the Steelers, like, they are a terrible away team. Ben's home away splits are awful. God awful. So the first game of the season against the defending champs and improved defense, you can bet your bottom dollar that they were going to look pretty bad.
I have a question before we go to the next game. Looking at the Patriots schedule, when do they get their first loss?
Couldn't get in Miami.
Name me the teams.
All right.
They play Miami.
Miami. They're the Jets. At home versus the Jets, on the road versus the Bills, on the road versus Washington, at home versus the Giants, on the road against the Jets, at home versus the Browns, on the road against the Ravens, then on the road against the Eagles, at home against the Cowboys, on the road against the Texans, back at home against the Chiefs, on the road against the Bengals, back at home against the Bills, and they end the season at home against Miami, hosting Miami.
They can lose next week against Miami. They always have trouble in Miami for some reason, in Miami.
They always struggle in Miami
and Buffalo.
Who they play in Buffalo?
Always.
Wake Forest.
Yeah. But see, the thing with Miami, though,
I still don't think they're going to lose to those teams.
yeah, I don't think they're going to lose to Miami because
Miami's awful this year.
they had players
Yeah.
contacting their agents talking about get them to trade me.
They're awful.
I don't even think
They did that before the season started.
I think if New England I don't think they could lose this game against Miami if they tried. Like, that's how bad the Dolphins are. Like, I just don't. To be honest, I'm just gonna call this out. I don't think they losing a game this season.
Nah,
They're going to go undefeated.
They're going to be about 11. I think about 3 or 4.
I think they're going undefeated.
They're not losing at home,
I think
though.
they're going undefeated, man.
Undefeated?
Reason I say that though is because of their defense. And adding Antonio Brown, like I'm getting like the Randy Moss vibe when Moss came, like. So
you're saying Antonio Brown's as good as Moss?
I would say in this
No,
point in his,
hey, be respectful.
no, I'm saying at this point in his career, like Randy Moss he came from Oakland, right? I mean, Antonio Brown.
Had 98 catches, 1,400 yards, 23 touchdowns.
Hey, AB's, how old was Moss when he got there? Was he 30? Was he in his 30s?
He was.
I feel like they still in
I
that.
just looked that up, actually.
So,
I was just looking that up.
I'll tell you this, AB ain't on the downside.
Moss was just turned 30.
Just turned 30, man.
Just turned 30.
Man. Whew. It could get dangerous, that's all I'm saying. It could. That's my hot take on it. Y'all, when do y'all think they're going to get their first L? They will.
I'm week by week.
Come on, man.
I'm focused on Miami right now.
Oh, you've been a Pats fan too damn long.
You sound like a
Focus on Miami,
You
man.
sound like a coach. You
Yeah,
sound like a
sure.
Bill Belichick coach.
You gotta focus on the team in front of
I
you.
asked, that wasn't a question, man. When do they get their first L? Looking at the schedule.
Focus on Miami, brother.
Okay.
So it's interesting. So I didn't know that Moss was with them for almost 3.5 years.
Well, he wasn't one of the.
Interesting.
When you got him losing?
I gotta look at the schedule. Undefeated? Whew. That schedule gotta be sweet.
First 5
The first 6, but they don't play a playoff team until. Who is
I
it?
think they did say that on Monday night. They were talking about it.
Playoff team until, was it the Ravens? Yeah. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I can see them losing 2 games early on. It's just early on. I can see them losing to the Jets in New York on long rest. And then they have to turn around and play the Browns on short rest. But the game is in New England. Those are trap games to me.
You think those are trap?
Absolutely. I mean,
With the long rest is actually good. It's that short rest.
yeah, you say that, but when teams are rusty, teams don't take it serious.
This is a veteran team, though. It ain't like.
Yeah, but this is a week by week thing. This is a one game, one shot. You know, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes it's not good for older guys to have long rest. I mean, you might think that, but they'll go home, sit around for 2 or 3 days with their kids, do their parent thing, and then come back, and it take them 2 or 3 days to
That's
even
a
get
Monday
back
night
into
game
the
too.
groove.
Oh, Sam Darnold on Monday night. Oh hell no.
See it happening. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put my money on it, but I wouldn't be surprised. And then you got to turn around and play a Thursday night game. Well, no, you play on Sunday. They play on Sunday.
Yeah, and they play Sunday.
And they play Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
And they play the Browns. Speaking of the Browns,
And when you hold on, and when you're the best, you get everybody's best shot. Normally. Not all the time. Just like the Dolphins. Just like how the Patriots struggle with the Dolphins. You know why they struggle with the Dolphins? Because the game is in Miami and it's trap city down there. It's hot. Club scene is popping.
Hot. It's hot.
The club scene is popping.
It's hot.
No, listen. They had Grunk. I know the club scene was popping. I saw Grunk. I was in Miami with Grunk.
It's
you
hot.
was too.
It's hot. That's it.
Because I was with you. And they have other things on their mind.
It's hot. That's it.
And it be hot. And
It's hot. That's it.
they want to get out of there.
And it's hot.
They want to get the live. Come on now. You know they want to get the live. We watched Gronk in the live.
Yeah, that's
Come
wrong.
on now.
It's hot.
We saw him
They
in
struggle
there.
out there because it's hot.
I'm sure it was some other Patriots out there.
It's hot. That's why they struggle out
Is it
there.
going to be hot this weekend,
Hell
Miami?
yeah.
Woo. Probably going to be about 90.
after what I saw
And it's probably going to feel like 100 and something.
Lamar Jackson do to the Dolphins, I'm just.
Actually, it's going to rain, be 86.
Hot. It's gonna be hot.
Actually, ain't that
Yeah,
bad.
it's not that bad. 86. not
For
that bad.
Miami. No,
Yeah, I've
it's
been
not
out there.
bad.
It's been about 94.
Yeah.
95. Sunny. That's hot.
No clouds.
So we ain't gonna say what else is out there. Though.
Woo! Titans versus Browns. Odell, his debut with the Browns.
More expensive than impressive. I
Oh.
tell you that.
150,000.
43-13. Remember them Titans, baby. They got their ass kicked. It was just bad. It was bad all around, man. The Titans' defense still solid. The run game was there with Derrick Henry. He even caught a nice screen pass and took it for a touchdown. Delanie Walker, like, that was just an old-fashioned beatdown. Odell's wearing a $200 or $350,000 watch.
Yeah.
They told him he can't wear it. He said he's still gonna wear it.
Who told me he can't wear it?
The league said you can't wear any hard jewelry. That's what they told him. He said they're only making a big deal out of it because it's him.
Probably.
So, what were y'all thoughts on that game?
It was good for 3 quarters.
You said they were what?
It was good for 3 quarters.
Mayfield threw 3
In
interceptions.
the 4th quarter. All in the 4th quarter. It was good for 3 quarters.
They had 5 unsportsmanlike penalties in the first half on the defense. Very undisciplined. Sounds like Browns football to me. Sounds like Browns football. I mean, it sounds like their team. Like, that's their team. Like, they have a lot of talent, right? But can the coach bring it all together and create one big super team? The answer to that on week 1 is no. Well, at least he hasn't done it yet. Obviously, it's a long season, so we'll see if they can turn it around. But I mean, it was tough. It was tough to watch. When you let Mariota hang 43 on you, 41 really, because they had a safety.
He threw for 3 touchdowns.
They had a safety. But when you let Mariota hang 41 on you, you're gonna have some problems at home too. By the way, that game was not in Tennessee. That game was in Cleveland. Yeah, you're gonna have some problems. And you better fix them quick.
Who they got coming up next? They got the Jets in New York on Monday night. I think Odell's gonna show out that game.
Jets actually look good, and besides the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, I was actually a little surprised. Well, we'll talk about that later. But go ahead, hey Will. What do you think about those Cleveland Browns?
I'm not a fan of coaches not playing players during the preseason. Odell didn't play a snap in the preseason. Baker probably played limited snaps. When you got a new team like that, and you got a new coach, you gotta play your guys in preseason. I'm not saying the whole preseason, but give them a quarter, give them a half, give them something. I'm not a fan of the whole, my quarterback ain't playing all preseason, my receiver ain't playing. I'm not a fan of that. Like, how the saying go, if you play scared, you're gonna get hurt. So, I mean, injuries are a part of the game. We all know that. But when you have a rookie coach, when you have a second-year quarterback, when you have a new acquisition in Odell, when you have, I think they got a new runner. I know Kareem Hunt ain't playing, but I'm trying to think of that starting quarterback. Chubb was there last year. You still got Njoku. He's a second-year player. Jarvis Landry, this is his second year in Cleveland. So, it might be his third. But you have too many new pieces that need to learn to gel and play together on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I thought that would have been much better. However, when your quarterback throws 3 interceptions in 1 quarter,
You're doomed.
You're bound to give up some points. I think the score at the end of 3 was
22-13.
Right. So you're still in you're still in the game at that point. Turn around and give up 3 interceptions. It becomes a little hard.
Scored 21 in the fourth.
Yep.
Comes a little hard. So, I mean, you gotta, like, I'm not panicking on the Browns. I just think this whole everybody tries to have this extended preseason where they don't play a lot of players in the preseason and then they use the first month of the season to try to figure it out and get it together. I'm not a fan of that.
It's too late for their team like the Browns.
I mean, I think it's too late for any team. Like, I mean, the Rams do it. They did it the last 2 years. The Rams barely won Sunday. I mean, the Bears did it, and they lost.
Bears suck.
No. I don't. I really don't think the Bears suck. I'm gonna say this, and I've said it since we talked about the Bears. If you're banking on the defense doing what they did last year as far as point production, that is a tall task to ask for. The defense put the Bears in great shape to win, and the head coach decides to run the ball 12 times and decides to get cute with it. And when he finally decided to let his quarterback throw the ball, they were able to move the ball a couple times. And yes, Trubisky had some bad play. He had some bad throws, right? The interception that iced the game was a bad throw. But that comes from lack of experience. Everybody forgets Trubisky only played 1 year in college. So he doesn't have a lot of game experience. He doesn't have a lot of pressure situation experience. And you have to trust him. Let him throw the ball. Let him throw it.
You got a quarterback like that, man. Your head coach has to put you in the best positions, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, and he don't do that with you.
But do we even know? So I ask every Bear this question: what is Mitchell Trubisky's strength and or weakness? Nobody knows.
Well, him being able to get out of the pocket and run is a strength.
Okay, but I mean,
that's not gonna move the ball like every down.
It's not, but when you don't run the ball, when you have a quarterback like that, you have to run the ball. So then that play action becomes effective.
But I'll just take y'all back to one series. The Bears had the ball. They ran the ball on first down. I think the guy got like 7-8 yards, right? They ran the ball on second down. He got a yard. It was 3rd and 1.
We talked about
3rd and 1.
We talked about that, boy.
Why not run the ball again? And even if you decide to throw the pass, right? As a coach, when you're practicing this play, like this is a play specifically designed for this down and distance, right? Situation. It is 3rd and 1. We're gonna fake it. We're looking for a quick shot to our tight end. If it's not open, Mitch, you got to do this immediately, right? When it wasn't open with the tight end, Mitch was trying to move the pocket a little bit to see if he was gonna come open. No, you got to be more decisive. But if, as a coach, you're not telling the player, listen, this ain't there, do this. This ain't there, do this. You got to run it 50 times in practice so he understands. So when it comes to the game, it's just natural.
Or if you play him in the preseason.
But I will say this, like on that specific play, because I 100% agree. We talked about this play. We talked about how they had numerous 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1 plays. They didn't run the ball. But on that specific play, A. Will is talking about, Burton went in the game. Burton didn't play.
Yeah.
Like, so he did not trust the tight end. Like, so Burton, and I know he's got some other stuff going on, but he's got to play. He's got to play. You've been preparing all season. You haven't played any snaps in the preseason. He's got to play. You just got to.
I'm done talking about the Bears next week.
All right, man, we're going.
Last night was a great game.
Best game.
Texans Saints. First time in 779 Monday Night Football games that a lead had been changed twice within a minute. Deshaun Watson gets it. Comes down cool, calm, and collected. We should have had him on the Bears. We could have. We don't. Throws a bullet. He got popped. Throws a touchdown.
2 bullets, actually.
Yeah, first one to Hopkins. Yep. Yeah. Right after that, they left Breeze with just enough time.
Too much time.
Just enough for him to get down there and Lutz, what was that, 58-yard career high, 58-yard field goal.
I just don't believe in that being too much time.
It's too much time.
I mean, he only had 57
And a
seconds.
timeout. And a timeout.
And a timeout.
And a timeout.
You got 50 seconds.
And a timeout.
Everybody, think about it. When you give a elite quarterback that much time.
With a timeout.
With a timeout.
He gave him like 32 seconds.
Huh?
He gave him 32 seconds.
That's too much time. Think about it. You need
Two big
all you
passing
need is
plays.
2 big chunk plays, and you still have, like, depending on the type of play you run, like if your first chunk play is in the middle of the, like one of those 2 chunk plays can be in the middle of the field because you still have a timeout. So you're not forced to go straight to the sideline. Like that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like that's too much time. Like when you have if they had 33 seconds with no time, now he's forced to throw the ball to the outside.
And it's only a few quarterbacks you're going to say that with. That have that, like, 30-something seconds. You're only going to say that with a few quarterbacks. Like, okay, we left them with too much time.
I can't go with y'all on that one. Only reason being is that he only had 57 seconds. Like,
Who, Deshaun?
Yeah,
but
they got
Deshaun,
the ball back with 57 seconds.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
And it took two
even
passes.
look at what they did. They like their first play was a 32-yard reception. That was a chunk play.
It was, absolutely.
So that they went from the 25 or wherever, they got 32 yards. So they already in the Saints territory. So now you had, now at that point you got maybe 45, 48 seconds left in the game. You have your entire playbook open to you. You don't have any timeouts, but you still only have 50 yards to go. We just got 32 yards off one play. We only got 50 yards to go to score a touchdown. Like, I'm not necessarily take my time, but I can pick my spots.
No, you can't take your time.
But I could pick my spots. I could be more, I can still use my full playbook and be more decisive.
You talking about with the Texans?
Yeah.
Nah, I can't agree with y'all on that, man. There's just not a lot of people that score touchdowns because they needed a touchdown. Let's all go back to that. They needed a touchdown. They couldn't just get a field goal. Like, it's not a lot of teams that score with 40 seconds left.
Yeah,
like,
but a lot of the teams that don't score with 40 seconds don't have that caliber of quarterback. They don't have that caliber of a receiver. They don't have that around. Like, even like the Texans O-line is
Trash.
they're a work in progress. Tunsil has to be better.
I'm gonna say, Will told us they got Tunsil.
Tunsil has to be better, but the rest of the line also has to be much better. Like, it's not all on Tunsil. Tunsil can only protect one side, and that's his blind side.
I agree.
Outside of that, the rest of that O-line is, Jesus, I don't even know. Now, here's the thing, though. I mean, let's look at the Colts, right? The Colts, when they was driving down, they didn't have much time. Like, I personally felt like Phillip Rivers left them too much time. They had too much time. When you give that caliber, think of the weapons. It's not just about it's not about the team. You have to look at the weapons. Do you have the quarterback that can make the throw? If you could check that box as yes, okay, now do I have the skill position players that can get separation or can make this catch? And when you check that box, yes, you have a lot on your side. A lot on your side.
And it's more so to me with Breeze when they left him with that and a timeout. So it's really not.
He had 27 seconds left. 27.
2 chunk plays, bro.
And they lost the game because the safety wanted to touch the wide receiver when he could have just left him on the ground and just let the time run out.
But still, you left him 2 plays.
So you got to touch.
They did what they needed to do. That's my thing. They did what they needed to do.
No, we're not saying that. When we say it's too much, you left them too much time. We're not saying that the Texans did anything wrong. It just so happens that when you look up at the clock and you see, man, it's 35 seconds left and Drew Brees got a timeout.
But when y'all say they left them too much time, I feel like y'all are saying that their play calling was too aggressive.
No.
When they could have been more relaxed and took smaller plays to take time off the clock.
Because you don't know if you're gonna score. Houston, to me, they did what they were supposed to do. You score. But as like fans watching the game, you just look up at the clock and you say, man, like not that they did it on purpose, but it's like it's too much time on the clock.
I said it. I tweeted it once they left. I was like, well, it's still 27 seconds left. I was like, the game ain't over.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't over. But
yeah, they ain't do it. I mean, not to say that Houston didn't do nothing wrong, but that's just how the way the game played out.
Who the quarterback over in if Mariota had 27 seconds left, you wouldn't have tweeted. It's still time on the clock, okay?
I mean, the way that they was playing, though, I would have been like, all right. Yeah.
The way who was playing?
The way if Mariota was playing the same way Breeze was playing in the second half, because they played outstanding in the second half.
On Matt? Hey, that's the only place he gonna play like that.
They was shit in the first half. Breeze was boo-boo in the first half. He was great in the second half. He did what he had to do. I mean, anybody, if you play it like how they were playing, I would have been like, man, it still ain't over. But I might have been like, still ain't over, but it might have been a butt, like, Mariota, the quarterback, you know. I wouldn't have been like, warm the bus.
Mr. Trubisky had 27 seconds left. You've been like, shit. I mean, it's only certain quarterbacks.
It's only a handful of quarterbacks that you're going to see with that amount of time on the clock, and you're going to say, that's too much time for that quarterback.
Too much time. What a timeout? What a timeout?
Yeah.
They had 20 seconds with a timeout.
You're going to say that with Rodgers. You're going to say that with Breeze. You're going to say that with Brady.
Rivers.
You're going to say that Rivers, experience. Mahomes.
Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
So they got it at 57 seconds, right? So it was 27 seconds left on the clock. And I said, all they need is a field goal. I said, it's still a lot of time.
And then where they kicked it from, they got it to the 40. Was it the 42?
Dude, it was his career.
That's what I'm saying. He told them, if you can get it to the 42, I'm good. So
it was his career long.
So
like 58 yards.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, they didn't even, for him to get to where he needed to go. How many yards was that? That wasn't even.
What did they start with the ball? 25.
25. They took the touchback. That was a mistake. And that's a mistake by the kicker. Like, don't kick it to the end zone. Like, the clock is your friend. You that's supposed to be a squeeze.
No, but I believe the NFL has changed the rule. Like, if you fair catch, like you can fair catch. I believe you can fair catch a
dribbling football.
If it's inside of the end zone,
not a dribbling. If it's dribbling, no, it's live. But see, you gotta, man, it's too much.
I'm squeeze kicking that. The clock is my friend. I need him to return this ball.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you squid, like, so if you say I'm squib kicking it, you kick it in the air as a receiving team, I can just fair catch it. I'm gonna get it out to 25, right? If you dribble it, now you are hoping that everybody on the kick coverage stays in their lane, right? Excuse me. And then whoever gets the ball just gets it and falls on it. But then you giving them even shorter distance to have to travel.
I don't mean like that. I mean like more of like a line drive kick.
They should have just kicked it because
it's going to hit the ground probably at about the 20, 25. Hopefully I get a good bounce.
Because
if I get a bad bounce, it's everybody in trouble.
But I mean, recently you got to think they actually moved from when they do the kickoff. They moved it up.
Yeah.
So we see less return. So to your point, they should have just kicked it off regular, but just don't kick it in the end zone. Because
he
just said you can fair catch it though. He just said you can fair catch it.
And I don't know if you can fair catch it and still inside. I don't know.
I believe
we gotta look that up.
And no time goes off the clock. So
I don't know about
that's what I'm saying. It's gotta be a line
up.
drive kick where it hits the 20. I've seen the Patriots do it a bunch of times where they kick it. It hits the 20. It starts dribbling a little bit. Now you have to get it and return it, and time goes off the clock once you touch it. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like time was their friend. Don't just kick it to the end zone.
Yeah, they should have kicked it because we hardly see kick return.
That's a free timeout. That's a free timeout.
So you're saying they really had 2 timeouts?
Yeah, they gave him a free timeout just by kicking in the end zone. No time goes off on
So
kickoff.
after week 1, what are y'all biggest? What would you say your biggest disappointment in week 1?
Well, we already talked about the Browns, the Falcons.
Talk about it.
You shocked that Matt Ryan looked like trash? Oh, that's because you're a Matt Ryan fan.
The Falcons look like boo-boo.
They look.
I don't know if the
They look like they all signed extensions.
But I will say, yes, they do look like they all signed extensions. But I will say that they look like boo-boo, but the Vikings defense looked like they did 2 years ago. So I will give them some credit. I won't just put it all on the Falcons, but I thought in a dome, I could see if this game was outside, but this game was in a dome. I thought that their offense would play a little bit better, but they did have opportunities. They had 2 red zone turnovers, so I mean they didn't play awful, but they just made some mistakes that kind of cost them the game. That's the one thing I can think of just off the top of my head, disappointing wise.
They have Matt Ryan.
Good.
Still.
We won.
Freeman was a lot better than I thought he was.
Yeah, Freeman was bad.
We won is the Browns by default, but the Bears.
Oof. Sticking with your own team?
Yeah, that was disappointing. You wait all year for that. You lay an egg against your rival.
You waited all year for that.
Meal performing. Like, man,
Dreams and nightmares couldn't wake him up.
Jesus. That was bad. That was a bad performance, especially about offense. Nagy talked about how he was going to run the ball, he's going to do all these different things, and he did none of that. And every press conference they say, "Oh yeah, we got to be better." I'm like Alex Brown post game. They always say we got to be better. It's time to stop saying it and to be better and do better. I'm tired of hearing, "Oh, we got to be better." Even with Trubisky, like just make it happen, bro. Like,
My thing with the Bears is, and I don't like to talk about them too much, but I feel like if you don't have a great quarterback, you have to have a for sure running game, right? If you don't have any trust in your quarterback, like you need to say who's going to be your number 1 running back and who is going to be your 3rd down back. I feel like he's not doing that. I feel like he's mixing Davis in with Montgomery.
you don't even know, man. Cohen didn't even run the
lined
ball.
up, yeah.
Cohen had 0 rushing attempts.
Cohen lining up more in
the slot.
In the slot than he is in the backfield. So I mean,
That's my disappointment.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, who you got?
Week 1 disappointment? Oh, it's week 1. That's hard to say. I don't have a disappointment week 1.
dang, nobody.
No.
Everybody was decent, huh?
I'm not gonna say. I think I was more surprised with certain outcomes in certain games than disappointed, because it's week 1.
You sound like Dougie's rap.
Yeah, you just told me every album I listened to was decent. Now here you go. Well, it's just they all.
I mean, it's week 1. I mean, I can't really say who was disappointing versus like. If you ask me who was more impressed, like I was shocked with the Ravens. Like that was a shock. The way that they came out and just dominated Miami.
That's impressive.
I was.
So that would be your most impressive.
Yeah, I was impressed by that. I mean, I was impressed with the Cowboys. They look mad balanced. I was actually like as the Cowboys won, but I was actually impressed with the Giants a little bit. Like they didn't just come in and lay down.
They do like the Dolphins?
No, they didn't. I was impressed with Josh Allen, like the Buffalo Bills versus the. You know what? I do got a disappointment.
There we go.
I just thought about it.
There we go.
The Detroit Lions, G. That was disappointing. Y'all were up 20. What was the score? They was up 26-3 or 26-6 and tied
24-6.
24-6 and they tied.
The Cardinals.
They tied.
They allowed 18 points in the 4th quarter.
A rookie, you allowed a rookie quarterback to get to like Kyler Murray ain't bad, but he was looking a little shaky. He
Second half, he got it together though.
Hey, I mean that's
And the Lions had a piss poor drive.
Oh my God.
They had a piss poor drive trying to manage the clock.
Yeah. The Lions.
All right.
It's the Lions.
All right.
We just wanted to hear.
Yeah. Most impressive. You got the Ravens.
He said 5 damn teams. Shit,
I'm gonna go.
He impressed by half the damn league.
No, I was impressed with the Ravens. I was impressed with, like I said, I was impressed with the Ravens. I was impressed with the ending to the New York Jets Buffalo Bills game. Like, that was a good game. Yeah. The Raiders was my most impressive, though.
Who you got?
I'm going to start it off. Well, he said 8 of my damn teams that I had in mind.
I got mine.
The coach was impressive, too.
I even though they lost, I did think the coach were very impressive. But I'm going to go with one of the teams that we let off talking about at the beginning of the show. I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders.
Damn it, man.
I took your most impressive. I felt like they really rallied behind the whole Antonio Brown thing. You saw the passion in their defense really show. I mean, even though they were playing the Broncos, I get it. They were playing Joe Flacco.
The Broncos are favorite.
Yeah, I don't care about no favorites. But they were playing the Broncos. The Broncos still trying to figure out, too. Their wide receiving core is kind of thin. They didn't start throwing the ball to Sanders to the end of the game. They don't know who they want to be their number one running back, Freeman or Lindsey. But their defense showed up, and their receivers were really good. Like, Williams was really good. Jacobs lived up to the hype, and Derek Carr really rallied his guys around him. And they got a W on Monday night to end the first week of NFL. And they look really impressive. So I'm going to have to go with the Oakland Raiders.
Yep, I'm not changing my pick. I'm going with the Raiders. Going with the Raiders, man. After all of that AB drama to still come out like that, that was impressive, man. That was Jacobs had the most, yards from scrimmage, was it ever?
Since Le'Veon.
But since
LaDainian.
LaDainian? Yeah. That was impressive, man. That was impressive. A lot of people didn't see that coming.
Very.
No,
I didn't.
So the kickoff rule that I was thinking of is college, where you can fair catch between the 25 and the end zone.
Yeah. See, they should have kicked that joint off regular.
Now, here's the difference. If you kick it off regular in the NFL and it lands in the end zone, it's automatically a touchback.
No, I'm saying don't kick it.
No, but if it gets in the end zone, it's a touchback.
Don't kick it in the end zone.
You're not listening.
They can let it roll into the end zone.
I don't think they would have did
I don't
that.
think they would have did that.
Yeah, I don't think they would have. If you kick it to the 10,
You don't take that chance.
yeah, you don't take that chance.
But like Fi said, if you get a hop, you get a bad hop, it could be a
But
bad
he was talking
hop,
about if
or
you
a
was
good
doing a
hop.
line drive kick. I'm talking about just kicking it like you normally
If
kick
you line
off.
drive it,
Don't do that.
If
Don't
you
do that.
line drive it, you hoping that it dies somewhere.
No, give it that hang time so your return team can
You're
y'all can
hoping
get down.
if you line drive it, you hoping it dies somewhere. You hoping that ball hit the thing, boom, and it stopped.
If you're on a receiving team, you hoping it dies.
Yeah, but if you on the
No, if you on
No,
the
no,
kicking
no,
team,
no, if
you're on the kicking team,
you hope it dies. If you on the receiving team, you letting it go.
yeah, I'd have gave him some.
Well, that's my thing though. If you think it's not going to hit the end zone, because say it don't hit the end zone.
Yeah.
That motherfucker
Say
up.
it take a high, take a high bounce at the 20 or the 15. The guy gotta get it. He has to get it. Like he has to. And then time starts running off the clock, whether you missed the first tackle or not. And now that 27 seconds turns into 25, or it turns into 23, or it turns into 22. That's all I'm saying. They could have did some things to make the clock go down from 27 seconds.
So we're gonna give our award prediction. We're gonna just stick with MVP. I know we talked a lot about the MVP race that was going on last year between Mahomes and Breeze and Gurley for around the first half of the season. Who do y'all seeing being front runner for the MVP this year?
Let him go first.
Aaron Donald.
Go on defense.
It's about time defense gets some credit. Aaron Donald.
It's a good pick. He won't win, but it's a good pick.
I'm tired. No, he needs to win.
They got him.
He's the best. He's the best defensive player in the league.
They gave us some points.
I was gonna say they defense got to be better though.
They gave us
He's
some
the
points.
best defensive player in the league. He's one player. He can't play safety and corner, but he's going. If Aaron Donald breaks the single sack season record, he should win MVP. Period.
Do you think he's gonna break the record?
He had no sacks, 1 tackle last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like MVP, you got to get off to
All he needs is essentially 2 good games. If he has 2 games of 4 to 5 sacks, let's say if he has 2 games of 5 sacks, that's 10 sacks right there, right? So that means we already played a game, he has none, you get 2, that's 3, so now he has 13 games left to get 13 sacks. That's a sack a game.
That's not. No, I feel you. But what I'm saying is,
sack a
Their
game.
defense.
they
just
can't
so
be a
stacked,
middle of the
though.
road team.
Huh?
Their defense just so stacked though. Like, I don't know if. Oh, I mean, Clay Matthews had a sack. Fowler had 2 sacks last week. They still got Peters. Still got Talib. I mean, don't get me wrong. He is the best defensive player on the team. I know that. But it's just gonna be. I think it's gonna be hard for him to stand out. And the Rams. The Rams play so fast that I don't know if they're gonna be able to hold teams to really low point totals. I mean, they just gave up 27 points to the Panthers.
But that's like saying
their best wide receiver is Greg Olsen.
That's like saying Khalil. It's hard for Khalil Mack. Sometimes on the defensive end, it's not about your statistics. Like it's about your impact on the game. Like
True. But I mean, if we're talking winning MVP, you have to have the numbers to back it up.
But that's what I'm saying. If he breaks the single season sack record, to me, he should win MVP.
So that's what you're trying to say. You're trying to say he's gonna break
He's
that
trying to say you just picked him, so that means
Yeah,
you're
break the
trying to
Strahan record.
Break the record.
He's gonna break the record. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a good time.
5, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the reigning MVP. I'm gonna go with Mahomes, man. Like
And back to back.
for a couple different reasons. So they just lost Hill, right? So everybody's gonna put their offense kind of down a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna have that crazy drop off that everybody thinks is gonna happen. Hill's he avoided the IR, so he's not gonna be out for 8 weeks. So he's probably gonna miss about 4 to 6 weeks probably
Okay.
with the injury.
Okay.
I don't know if their offense is gonna slow down. Like they didn't slow down at all when Hill got hurt, and I'm not saying. And they playing a pretty good defense in the Jacksonville Jaguars too. Sammy Watkins looked wonderful. He looked like he could be a #1 receiver. They still got Kelsey. They're working McCoy in. Damian Williams. I still think Mahomes is really gonna put up 30 plus, like a game. Like the only other person that I think that could contend with him was the person that contended with him last year, and that's gonna be Drew Brees. Because he's going to have to continue to win football games for them. Like, it's going to be about Drew Brees winning football games for the Saints. And that's not a bad thing. It's Drew Brees. But I'm going to go Mahomes.
I'm going to go with the GOAT, Tom Brady. But behind him, it's going to be a surprise pick. I'm going to go Dak. Cowboys.
Look good.
Go Dak.
It looked real good last week.
But Tom Brady, I think he's going to win MVP, man. AB
Well, you got them going undefeated.
added, yeah. So it matches, right? Yeah, man. I think he's going to put up some ridiculous numbers. I just think it's just one of those years for him again. Where it's like, okay, I've been, consistent, and then it's like, oh, take it to another level. So, that's
Can he win MVP on a stacked team?
Who? Brady?
Mm-hmm.
He's a quarterback. Yeah.
The MVP is a quarterback award.
It's going to make him look that much better.
The MVP is.
But can he get the votes? That's what I'm trying to say.
All-
Obviously,
all-
if you go undefeated, like you're gonna get the
All
votes.
Brady would have to do is throw for about 35 touchdowns, maybe 5 interceptions, and 4,500 yards.
35 touchdowns, get it?
Yes.
I think he's going to throw for 40.
Yes. That's what it's a quarterback award. Like you don't have to, as a quarterback, all you have to do is really not be average.
Team success.
Your team,
You gotta have team success.
if the Patriots go undefeated, like Ray is saying, Brady just needs to be average, and he'll win. Now, if he throws a lot of interceptions, it drops him a little bit.
Because he's actually only had 1 year where he's thrown over 40 touchdowns. And that was that year, 07, he threw for 50.
He won the MVP
Didn't
when he
have
played.
Moss
I think the year he played 12 games. He won MVP. The year he had the 4-game suspension, or was it the year after that?
Let me see, I'm trying to find out the MVP seed. Jesus. 3-time MVP. He won these MVPs. Let's see. He won those MVPs 2007, 2010, and 2017. Yeah.
You played 12 games there?
Let me see.
2007, yeah.
You were 4-0 when he missed those 4 games?
2 or 3 and 1.
3-1?
2007, he started all 16. That was the year with Moss. 2010, he played all 16. He threw for 36 touchdowns. In 2017, he played all 16. And he threw for 32 touchdowns.
So that was the year after
yeah,
the suspension.
After, yeah.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. So he
had 4,500 yards, 4,577 yards, 32 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
I feel like Mahomes is going to throw 40.
Yeah, but is Mahomes like? So that's the thing. When it's a quarterback-driven award, it doesn't matter how many. Like it starts to come down to wins versus losses. It doesn't matter how many. And then if you just stay consistent, that's the thing. Like if Brady throws for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns, and he has 5 interceptions, you win the award. Mahomes got to go undefeated and throw for 40 touchdowns.
His schedule was so sweet, man. I could just see him putting up like ridiculous numbers. You need the schedule, man. Hey, Will, you have something to do with it?
You know,
Send a couple of emails out.
sometimes you gotta make a call.
CC who you need to CC, because oh my God.
Sometimes you gotta make a couple calls, man.
I understand.
We out Super Bowl champ.
I had to make a call to the NBA. So
Reigning Super Bowl champ.
I had to make a call to the NBA, tell them about the Ninja Turtle headbands.
Oh, they play each other week 14, so that'll be a big game on the schedule. Just like it was last game. Just like it was last year. They both performed last year. Mahomes lost and still got the MVP. Just to let y'all know.
Yeah, they had the better record.
It happens. You know?
They had the better record.
Happens. I'm just trying to say.
Gonna switch gears to the NBA for a quick second. The 2020 Hall of Fame eligible players have been released. Among those names, just a couple of no-name guys: Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant. Then we got Elton Brand, Chris Bosh. They got Andre Miller, Amari Stoudemire, Tayshaun Prince, Kevin Martin, Kurt Heinrich, and Karan Butler.
What?
They're eligible. That doesn't mean they're going to get in booth. They're just
Well, why are they eligible?
Because they played the game of basketball.
But why do they?
for a long amount of
They
time.
retired in 2014.
What a class though.
It's top 3. I mean,
Duncan, KG, Kobe. After that,
Nobody else matters.
I think Bosh should get in.
I gotta see the other players. I mean, there's gonna be some Euro guys that's gonna be up for it. There's gonna be some WNBA players that's gonna be up for it. Yeah, I just gotta see. And then college coaches, I feel like are always like.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be.
I feel like it's always like a weird one. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always like because Boeheim's already in it, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so you got Boeheim who retired recently. He's already in it. Izzo's already in. So I don't know. It feels like the college coaches like they hit a year mark, and then they're eligible to get in, even when they're still coaching. Like who's to say Coach K won't be eligible? You know.
But from this list,
Coach K gonna get in before probably everybody but KG, Duncan, and Kobe.
did Elton Brand do enough?
No.
Basketball Hall of Fame, I'm gonna be honest with you, is not that tough to get into. Because it's not the NBA basketball.
That's what I'm saying with Elton Brand.
I think it's tougher.
It's easier. They take your entire career. Like they take college and professional. So
yeah.
did Elton Brand do enough? Yeah. I mean, he was.
He did. I don't think he had any Olympic.
Yeah, but he was good in college. He was good in college and he was solid in pros. Like, yeah, he did enough. Is he gonna be a first ballot Hall of
National
Fame?
Player of the
but
Year.
that doesn't. But I mean, look at Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose not gonna get in. He was solid in the NBA. And he was great in college.
Grant Hill made the Hall of Fame.
Grant Hill was also like great his first 7 years in the NBA. Like he was not just good, not just solid.
Can you
was great.
Can you make it? So you're saying you can make a Hall of Fame off of having 7 good seasons in the NBA?
He said Grady and Grant Hill did it.
Well, I mean, Grant Hill was a 7-time All-Star,
Yeah,
5-time All-NBA team.
He got more All-Star games than Steph Curry do right
now.
now.
Rookie of the Year. He won ACC Player of the Year.
See, now you going to college.
No, I'm saying, but his NBA, like Elton Brand's NBA resume is like.
Well, when you add
It's a
college,
2-time All-Star.
when you add college and the NBA, it becomes that much more easier. Because now I don't get to just say, let me look at your NBA sample size. If I just look at an NBA sample size, right? Like if you look at baseball, you look at football, they look at your football career. Like in the NFL, they don't look at your college career. They look at just NFL only. If you look at Grant Hill and say 7 years, and you stack those 7 years against some of the other great players and their 7 years alone, right? You have an argument that Grant Hill might not be an All-Star. But once you start going back and say, okay, he was a back-to-back champion in college, he was this in college, he was that in college, this, that, and the third in college. Now it's like, okay, he has a strong case.
What's the excuse for McGrady then? McGrady didn't even go to college. He had 7 great years in the NBA. That was it. First ballot Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, I don't think y'all ready for my answer to that. Because like I said, the NBA Hall of Fame is just too easy. I think
Well, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the world.
I mean, the basketball Hall of Fame is just too easy. I'm gonna be honest.
And Brand, he does have some FIBA experience. 3 gold medals. I know that. And then what was the other person on the list? Bosh.
Bosh got a gold medal, so he's probably gonna get in first.
And Bosh got 2 rings.
He's got 2 rings. What type of All-Star is he? 4 or 5, probably.
Chris Bosh is an 11-time All-Star.
He's gonna make it. He's gonna make 11?
11.
For Chris Bosh?
He gonna make it.
Yeah. Who the fuck?
Yeah, shit, that's what I'm saying.
Who would vote Chris Bosh to All-Star game?
He's in the East for a long time.
Oh my God. They didn't have
He's in the East his whole career.
They had no power forward.
Man, you got to think this is when like
KG?
and he was still in.
He probably had better numbers than KG.
Well, I don't think he started.
KG got to the East.
But I don't think
He probably always had better numbers than KG, actually. When KG got to the East?
I mean, just think about it, he's averaging
Come on now.
23 and 11,
Let's be for
23 and
real.
11, 22 and 9, 23 and 10, 24 and 11.
Hey, Will, let's be for real. He probably had better numbers than KG. When KG
When
got to
KG
the
came to
East.
Boston?
When
Yeah.
KG,
I mean, yeah, he
he's a
sacrificed.
third option. He sacrificed.
I
What?
mean, they both are third options.
Bosh played his whole career in the East.
That doesn't mean I'm not talking about his whole career. I'm talking about when KG got to the East and you had Bosh already in the East. I'm saying Bosh's numbers was probably better than his.
They was.
Yeah,
Was
because
probably better than
KG
his.
sacrificed when
They
he
all were third. They both were third options.
No, he was
Bosh
in
didn't
Toronto.
become a third option until
1 year.
2010.
No.
2 years.
Bro,
2 years. 2008. And then he got to Miami in 2010.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm
So
trying
he
to say
had 2
his number in
years to
2010 was
ball.
probably still better than KG's.
Oh, when he got to
KG
Miami?
was already-
Yeah.
He was 19 and 8, 18 and 8.
Bosh was too. Bosh was the third option too, Will.
I'm just gonna let it go.
They weren't. He wasn't the third option. That's not a true fact.
But these 11 All-Star appearances are deserving though. 'Cause he was
11 All-Star games.
05, 06. You want to see these
Bosh,
numbers?
Bosh.
What?
What Shaq on?
I want
Bosh.
What do you
Bosh
call Bosh Spice.
You see these numbers? See these numbers? 05, 06?
Oh my God.
These don't deserve to go to the All-Star game? They averaged 23 and like 10 for like all the way up until he went to Miami.
He was getting numbers. 1, 2.
He was literally
He had 5 years.
yeah, when he went to Miami.
11. No, this is 5 years.
What else?
What other 6 saying?
Hold on. Ooh.
Oh my God.
1, 2, 3.
He got the
4,
Kevin Love All-Star
5.
game, son.
We sitting here
6,
mad
7,
that Chris
8.
Bosh made 11 All-Stars and
Yes.
Draymond Green just made about how many? Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm just
He's only been in the All-Star game 3 times, maybe twice.
Hey man, Kyle Korver made the All-Star team. Don't get me started.
In the East,
He
with
didn't-
y'all.
Didn't deserve to make that shit.
He made in the East with y'all.
But this
With
is
Bosh.
Kyle Korver made it with the Atlanta Hawks.
Host.
Yeah, and Bosh probably made it that year too. Yeah, that was the year when Brown was still on the Heat.
You name me some other big men better than Bosh in the East?
East was trash.
There you go.
Bosh made an All-Star game.
Who else?
They could have swung Kevin Love over there. Kevin Love was putting up numbers then.
Swan.
And not making an All-Star game.
Yeah, I think Bosh gonna get in.
Kevin Love didn't make an All-Star game until he got to Cleveland, didn't
Yeah.
All of them cats getting in. Kevin Martin too.
he? Kevin Martin.
Man,
I mean, Rasheed Wallace ain't in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Kevin Martin might as well make it.
She ain't gonna get in.
The worst shame is that Tim Hardaway and Chris Webber are not in the Hall of Fame.
Chris Webber, we know.
We know why Chris Webber's not in. It's like the P. Rose. Come on, P. Rose all-time hits.
All they got, if Chris Webber just comes out and admit that he took the money, he would make it.
Well, Pete Rose was at the casino with me and you betting on the games. I mean, come on now.
I get that, but I mean, the man got over 4,000 hits, which we will probably never ever see again. And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, Barry
Bonds.
And Barry Bonds ain't gonna make the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens ain't gonna make it. A-Rod ain't gonna make it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of players that ain't gonna make it just because of what they did.
Once the old geezers that start dying.
Come on, man.
Once the old geezers that die.
Bro,
they
sometimes certain people just got, it's just unwritten rules, man. Like, everybody say like it's the old writers and this, that, and the third. No, it ain't just the old writers. Some of these young writers follow that stuff too. Some of these baseball enthusiasts, they follow that same thing. So,
All right. So, he's taking a personal break. We got Go Talk coming when he come back. So, what we gonna do from now until then is
I'm gonna tell y'all, Coach K already in the Hall of Fame.
he is.
Should have been.
He was inducted in 2000.
I mean, yeah. But Tim Hardaway, look at Tim Hardaway numbers. He said Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway was in.
Just
Tim
saying,
Hardaway in the Hall of
man.
Fame?
No.
What he do wrong?
Nothing. 5-time All-Star. He made All-NBA team 5 times.
He never cheated.
Yeah.
No, she is not a Hall of
He
Fame.
never cheated.
Who knows?
Too many technicals?
She ain't never. I don't even think Rasheeda's made an All-Star team though. Like at some point, you gotta have some.
Y'all went from Grant Hill made 7 All-Stars to she ain't never make an All-Star.
No, I said I don't even know if he got 4.
Like, but I'm
He
just
don't-
saying, like,
he don't have-
does
he don't-
making an All-Star team?
But look at his resume. He don't even have no like college. His college resume not even good.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, that's why Rasheed not in there.
I get it, but that's why I don't like the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like, what's the criteria? What's the standard? What do you have to do? Like, what's the golden standard? Like, how many points do you have to score? How many rebounds do you have to grab? How many
So I look
steals?
at it like this. At some point,
Like wins, losses, like
If-
rings, like what's the criteria? Like, I feel like in football, like there's a criteria. I feel like in baseball, there's a criteria. Like there's a standard that you're reaching for, right? Like
I feel like basketball, some type of individual, like individually, you have to have some type of accolades.
yeah, but okay. So now is it accolade like that's
Not
what-
even accolades, and then where you rank on like certain all-time lists.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like what's the gold standard? Like if I was to say, okay, in football, as a quarterback, you gotta have at least 45,000 career yards, right?
Right.
Like that's so as a quarterback, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, okay, I know I gotta throw for at least 45,000 yards, and before I'm even mentioning the Hall of Fame conversation.
Right.
How many touchdowns do I need to throw for? I don't know. Let's say let's say 150 touchdowns, right? I don't know, 200, maybe two. I don't. What's? Let me see the touchdown list.
But I mean, with basketball though, I mean, you got to look at it. Number one, like I said, is they take your international as well, your college. Then you got to think, man. In the NBA, you have to have some type of individual, like whether ranking in as far as points, rebounds, assists, some type of category, something. All-star appearances, an award. Even if you don't rank all time, like if you look at certain guys, like you win Defensive Player of the Year so many times in a row. Like you have to have some type of accolade. You can't just be like a 3-4 time All-Star.
I don't know. Vlade Divac just made it this year.
International, bro. You keep not looking at it as international.
He doesn't have any NBA awards. Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
International.
Like when you look at basketball,
I was talking about if you strictly like the international. I mean, I'm talking about if you like we looking at like a Rasheed Wallace.
Well, what about Mutombo?
But so here's my thing. This is my argument with basketball. This is what I'm saying. Like there is no standard, right? And then like let's just look at a prime example. Stephon Marbury, right? Like Stephon Marbury probably had an okay college career. He may, I don't know. I know he went to Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his numbers was, but I'm just gonna say he was good enough to get drafted, right? So he had a solid college career. He got drafted. He played in the NBA. He had an average NBA career, right? Average.
Above average.
Okay, you want to say above average. I'm going to say average, but we'll go with above average. He went overseas, balled out.
He had an average NBA career.
But think about it.
Marbury?
2-time All-Star.
Look at his numbers.
He went to China, balled out. Got a statue in China and everything. He going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's going to make the, but if you just look at his NBA career, we're not sitting here saying Stephon Marbury is that. So that's what I'm saying.
The criteria is your international.
But it's too wide.
They don't like the criteria.
It's too wide.
It's a global sport, baby.
No. Fuck that.
It's a global sport.
Baseball is a global sport, but they don't go and say, "Oh, Ichiro did this in Japan, and then he came to the MLB and did this." Like if Ichiro only had a good Japan career, if Ichiro came over to the MLB and had an average or a sub-average MLB career in Major League Baseball, he would not be considered a Hall of Famer. But the fact that he balled out in Japan and he came over here to America and still balled out, he's gonna make the Hall of Fame, and he deserves it. But there's a lot of international players that have come over and played baseball that probably had great international careers over wherever they're from, and came over here, and it was just like, oh, they never panned out.
But I also feel like they feel like the talent is not equal either. Like if you go overseas, like there's guys over there who could play in the NBA, absolutely. Like in every country you go to.
So again, we are going to make it wider because, like that again, I just don't get it. We're going to look at this guy's college career. We're going to look at his NBA career professionally, and then we're going to look at his international career as well. It's some players in the Basketball Hall of Fame that never played a game of basketball in the NBA and still are in the Hall of Fame, probably, right? Like but it's the best. Like, where?
Well, I mean, you talked about Mutombo. He don't have any international experience, but he's in there. Off of you look at his accolades. 8-time All-Star. He's 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. 2-time rebound leader. 3-time NBA block leader. Like he's got his number retired by 2 different teams. Like
What the hell?
I just want to know. Like, if I look at it, if Booth have a son and his son want to play football and his son want to play quarterback, I can tell his son, you need to throw for 45,000 yards, at least 250 touchdowns, and we probably got a shot at making a Hall of Fame. I know I can say that. I can say that and be comfortable with it, right? And now I gave Booth's son something to shoot for playing in the NFL. In the NBA, I don't like in basketball. It's too wide. Like I gotta say, hey, man, you gotta have a solid college career. You gotta go to the NBA. I don't even know what you gotta do in the NBA. Like how many points you gotta total. Like how many rebounds totals you gotta have. Like steals, like blocks. Like where do you have to rank on these lists? Like, do you have to be a top 20 scorer? Do you have to be a top 50 scorer? Top 20? Like, where do you set the bar?
Just have to dominate.
I think it's just about your presence in the NBA.
Yeah, and dominate.
That's not. I don't know. That's not enough.
If you can dominate the NBA for about 7-8 years.
I did not know Dikembe Mutombo was an 8-time All-Star. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Like,
Dennis Rodman, I don't think he got that many All. He's in Hall of Fame.
yeah.
So
Been talking about Ben Wallace lately too.
yeah, talk about what Ben Wallace making.
I mean, he should make it too. If that's the case. I mean, I do
Ain't
think
Ben Wallace in the Hall of Fame already?
No.
I don't think he's eligible yet. Is he?
No, yeah. They've been talking about it in the last couple of years. But I mean, we all say Dwight Howard's gonna be an first ballot Hall of Fame. So I mean,
Don't say we.
well, two out of the three.
Yeah.
He should be first ballot, absolutely.
And he's got the international to go with it.
Yeah, he's got a gold medal. Well, he's got just one though, right? He won with the 2018. He wasn't on 2012 team, I don't think. He pulled out. He pulled out that team.
2018.
Yeah, he pulled out that team.
8-time All-Star,
He was
3-time Defensive Player of the Year,
He was on the Kobe.
5-time rebound leader, 2-time blocks leader. He's definitely gonna make it.
First ballot too. First ballot too. That one, no question.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Basketball Hall of Fame, man.
You just got to be able to dominate, man. It ain't got I have a question. If Kawhi Leonard was to retire today,
You about to ask if he's a Hall of Fame?
is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. Shit. He did enough.
no.
Yeah.
I would say no.
2-time champion? What, 3 times?
He got to get in. Joe Dumars in, right? Yeah, Joe D is in. He would be a Hall of Famer. Yeah, that's first ballot.
First ballot.
Well, Joe
Half
Dumars
ballot.
is a Hall of Fame because of his GM experience. Actually, that's why he's in. Not because of his plans.
Definitely unanimous, okay?
Yeah, he would get in.
Steph Curry retired today, he in that too.
He should be.
Unanimous.
Change basketball.
They changed it for the good.
I mean, if Jordan would have stayed retired after '93, he would have been the first ballot Hall of Fame.
He should.
He been above that.
That's 9 years.
I mean, he should.
Right? No, that's what I'm saying.
He's been like 6-time. He'd have been like 7-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, 3-time champion. Like, yeah, he should be. Absolutely.
You saying Jordan should have?
I'm just saying I need the criteria. Y'all have to tell me your criteria. Like, if you have a son that plays basketball, what are you telling him to shoot?
I just think it's wide because of the different sports it's on. Like WNBA, like how do you say a WNBA player?
Joe Dumars is in there as a player.
Yeah, but they talked about his GM and stuff too when he gave his speech. I remember that. I remember when Joe D got in.
Well, he was a 6-time All-Star too, though. 4-time All-Defensive First Team,
2-time champion.
2-time champ.
One got an NBA Finals MVP too.
So if Kawhi retired today, though,
He would get in.
He would get it.
He would get in.
Hey, listen,
He would get in.
this. I keep trying to say, what's the
He would get in.
criteria?
he's not in no ranks though. Like,
He would get in.
What's the criteria?
Joe
I feel like he hadn't played. I would feel like Kawhi hadn't played long enough.
What's the
Dumars,
criteria?
Joe Dumars not in no ranks neither, but he got enough accolades to get in. And he was
20,000
he was
points?
executive of the year too 1 year.
25,000.
Yeah.
I agree. But I mean, it's hard to say that because there's so many different sports involved. Like you just can't just say like, oh, you have 20,000 points, you get in, because you never have the opportunity to score 20,000 points in college. Like,
No, but I'm just
you never
saying,
have
if
the
you-
opportunity
if you
to score
look-
that many points in WNBA.
If you look, but that's what I'm saying. Don't make it a basket. Just make it an NBA Hall of Fame.
Oh, well, I'm not.
I mean, that's a different beast. Yeah, they absolutely should have it
I'm not
on.
disagreeing.
But we going with what we got.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's too wide open. It's too wide
You
open.
don't think T-Mac should have made it?
Going to a different realm.
Dude, hey,
Hey.
we gonna ask that on the page.
You don't think
Let's
T-Mac-
ask that on the page.
I want to hear what he got to say first, though.
Is
You don't-
T-Mac deserving? Did T-Mac deserve to make the Hall of Fame?
7-time All-Star. He made
what is like 5 or 6 team All NBA.
7-time All-NBA,
Mm.
2-time scoring champion, and he's got a most improved.
don't sound like Hall of Fame to me.
He don't got
Not first ballot.
He got a FIBA.
Excuse me, could you come a little closer to the mic and say that a little louder?
Career stats.
Say that again.
19.
And who? Huh?
That
What
didn't
you
say
say?
Hall
Wait,
of-
don't you be quiet. Huh?
That
What you say?
didn't sound Hall of Famous to me.
Oh man! Now keep going. How many career points he got?
19.6.
No. I need
5.6.
how many points? Like the total points.
Total points. T-Mac. Oh,
I need to know his total points.
total points. Let's see. I'll get you that.
According to your criteria, though, we only be inducting the 1 or 2 players.
We got to set the bar somewhere.
Kobe make it?
Hell yeah, Kobe
Make
to
sure,
make it.
just make sure. Make sure.
Kobe what? Second on the list in total points.
You got tough criteria there, man.
Behind who? Behind Malone and Kareem.
Don't mind him. He's
T-Mac.
just talking.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say Kobe got 5 rings.
For his career,
We all know Kobe
18,000
dunking. and-
18,381 points.
What's that for number what?
Career. That's his career points.
That's got to be like top 400 or something.
Ugh.
That can't even be top 100.
NBA all-time scoring list. Let's see what T-Mac rocks. Jesus.
You keep going down. You scrolling.
What? I said 18?
18,000.
That ain't even 50. That ain't even top 50.
I knew that.
Terry Cummins got 19,460 points.
So he top 100 though?
Yeah, he's top 100.
Okay, he got 4,161 career assists.
He's 69.
5,000.
69 all time in scoring in NBA history.
Guess who's 70?
Ah.
Guess who's 70? You about to laugh though, but it's because his time was split between 2 different leagues. But guess who's 70?
Julius Erving.
Yeah. His time was split.
Dr. J.
Yep.
The great Dr. J, as
His
y'all
time
call
was
him.
split.
Get that elbow.
Hey, that elbow's not in, booth. That
Yeah,
man
but-
shoot no jumpers.
He's 69 all time.
That man
Perfect.
was shooting no jumpers, okay?
James Harden is already passed.
James Harden is already
James
passed.
Harden is at 63.
He passed McGrady.
Russell Westbrook is at 59.
Whoa.
Hell, Jamal Crawford at 51.
Oh, I knew that. Jamal Crawford been in the league 20 years.
Hell.
And he a
Getting
gun.
buckets.
Y'all still want me to talk about Tracy
So is
McGrady?
You didn't answer the
so is
question.
Jamal Crawford a Hall of Famer?
Hell no.
No.
And he number what?
51.
Like that's
top
why
50 all time?
That's
Terry Cummins number 50.
Like we got
Terry
it.
Cummins deserving?
No, Clifford Robinson 47.
Cliff. Good old Cliff.
Oh, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like we got to have like it's okay to be like, and T-Mac was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like he was a first
This is
ballot
hilarious.
Hall of Famer.
It also matters what year you go in.
Oh,
Because it goes on votes. It's just like the baseball.
But this is what I get that. I get that all the way live.
So if I don't have
37.
that many people, like I can vote on, like
But no, the people that wasn't voted the year before is the same people that's on the list every year. Like, so it's not like we get a entirely new list. No, we just add more like eligible players to the Hall of Fame list.
all right. So I know we spend a lot of time on
this is a good topic.
Well, hold on though. Well, let me ask just a question. Who's more deserving of the Hall of Fame, Chris Webber or Tracy McGrady?
Chris
Chris
Webber.
Y'all say that.
Hands down.
So you trying to say
Chris
that
Webber.
Webber was a better NBA player than McGrady?
My eye test, yes. I mean, he at least went to the Western Conference Finals a couple times. T-Mac couldn't even get out the goddamn first round.
T-Mac got a ring, though.
Hold on.
No, he don't.
I might have
No.
a problem with you
Then
saying
when he
that.
went,
Who might have a problem with me saying that?
Me.
Oh, well, you could have it.
What did I say? T-Mac averaged what? What did I say? How many points?
19.6.
19. See, Webb's at 21.
For his career?
Yeah.
Cut it out.
21 and 10. 21 and 10.
Like, come on. Stop.
5-time All-Star, which really ain't a lot.
I don't care about all that.
But
He was in the West. I mean, he was in the
Like,
West
you
with
got,
Duncan
like
and
when you
KG.
start looking at
He was
all-star,
never gonna make the West.
that's
So yeah, he should. Yeah.
no, cut it out.
So is
Did
that-
T-Mac ever win an MVP? I know Webber did, but did T-Mac ever win one?
He was close. He was like second or third the year. In
He led the league in rebounds one year.
You know what
See
I mean?
Webb.
I'm sure Webber was close a couple years.
Rookie of the
Maybe
year.
like third or fourth in a couple of years. Because one year the Kings was like second. They were second. No, they won the West actually one year. They won the West.
I mean, Webber, yes, Webber deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. trying to think.
Pau Gasol is 37 on this list.
Stop looking at that
I mean,
list.
well, Pau Gasol.
Interesting list. If you look, this list is really interesting.
Pau Gasol is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm with you on that. I would disagree with you. I'm just looking at this list like with points.
He's who?
So Webber was a better basketball player than McGrady.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to ask the Masters that.
Well, you go ahead and ask him.
I got to.
Chris Bosh 93rd on the all time.
And y'all telling me that man the first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's gonna be first ballot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what
He
is
dominated, but you got to look into consideration of like the context of what happened. His career was cut short.
Look at All-Star game.
His career was cut short. He's an 11-time All-Star.
Okay, so this is the question that I'm going to ask, right? Like, I get that Webber is not in the Hall of Fame because he won't say what he did when he was in college, right? But if we only looked at Chris Webber's NBA career versus Chris Bosh's NBA career, do not mention All-Star games to me at all. Don't mention that to me because that is a fan voted participatory thing, right?
But also,
Will you say
for
that?
those two, it depends. For those two, it really matters because Bosh was in an East didn't have a lot of big men, and Webber was in the West with all the damn big men.
All the big men.
With Nowinski, KG,
Duncan.
Duncan. He was not making any All-Star games over any of them.
Like, but I mean, like, let's be real. If you just look at their career in totality, Chris Webber versus Chris Bosh, just NBA alone, you're not telling me that Chris Bosh deserves to be in the Hall of Fame over Chris Webber. You cannot sit here and tell me that with a straight face. You can't.
Over Sewell?
And yet y'all sitting here telling me this man's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I mean, you can't tell me not to say he's an 11-time All-Star because that's part of going into the Hall of Fame. Bro.
It's not.
He's had some luck too. He's got the chance to play with LeBron and Dwayne Wade, and they've won rings. So I mean, luck is just on his side. I mean, that's not his fault though.
I'm asking comparison. Player A versus player B. If you just look at their careers, throw the accolades out of the door. Just look at their career numbers. I understand Bosh was dealt. I'm not saying. Look, if Bosh
their career numbers are similar.
If Bosh played as long as Webber did, this would be a different argument. I would have a different stance.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. If Bosh never plays with LeBron and Wade,
blowing them out the water.
Yeah, his numbers would be
blowing them out the
way
water.
better.
So again,
he's
I'm
19-9 for his career.
I'm not. That's not what I'm arguing.
You just said they numbers without accolades.
But what? Listen to what I'm saying. Bosh's career was cut short. If Bosh would have played as long as C-Web, I just said it, we would have a completely different argument, right? A completely different argument. I would not say that Chris Bosh does not deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Fame. I wouldn't say that. But the fact that I know that Chris Bosh is eligible for the Hall of Fame and C-Web is still eligible for the Hall of Fame, still eligible for the Hall of Fame, that's a disservice to Chris Webber and how good he really was.
But we know why though.
But if that's what I'm saying, if it was just an NBA Hall of Fame, if it was not a basketball Hall of Fame, if this was just an NBA Hall of Fame, that's all I'm saying.
We know that though.
Bosh really only played one more year than Webber.
I mean, it's definitely.
He really only played one more year than Webber. Really.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, Webber played one more year than Bosh.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's it and that's all.
Go talk.
Tough. Oh, we gotta go talk. My turn.
Talk. We gonna post that though. That Hall of Fame. That's good. Bosh gonna get in there.
Of course.
First ballot too.
T-Mac in there. If I don't even think T-Mac.
Shit, them
I
numbers.
just said they didn't sound the Hall of Fame.
Just say the truth.
But I didn't know Dikembe Mutombo had made 8 All-Star games, so I mean.
Dikembe was the
excuse
truth.
me. Dikembe was the what?
When he played, he was the truth.
Just go.
That was back then when it was big man. Though he actually had centers though, bro.
Stop talking to me, man.
Go on to the go talk.
What other centers?
Stop talking to me,
He
man.
was a top 5 center.
Come on, man. Stop talking.
My line?
Yes, you know.
Who else?
Yes, you know.
Who else?
Stop talking.
You said
During his time playing, he wasn't a top 5 center.
Stop talking.
Bro, he played with in the time. Who is in the league?
He upset Gary Payton and them as an 8 seed, I believe, when they beat them in Denver. When he was in Denver. He. Name somebody else on that team.
Wasn't
We're talking about was scoring all the points.
I think Abdul Rauf wasn't he in the league?
I don't know if he was on that team though.
Oh, right.
He might have been.
Okay. I mean, shit. Go ahead, 5. I'm not even paying him no attention. Top 5 center.
Right.
You out of your damn.
Who name? You couldn't name me.
Patrick Ewing was in the league. Alonzo Mourning was in the league.
David Robinson was in the league. Shaq was in the league.
Hakeem Olajuwon was in the league. Cut it out,
man.
Be respectful.
I made y'all think though.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You need to stop drinking.
First ballot.
Get the fuck out of here.
He's a 4-time
Go ahead,
defensive player of the year.
Y'all listen.
Y'all ready?
And it wasn't like he was just averaging 6 points.
Come on. The man trying to get the stats. I'm not even listening to you no more. Come on.
Y'all ready?
First ballot.
Mm-hmm.
First ballot.
You just dropped on your head. That's big. I know it.
All right, we got a good old fashioned. I'm changing up the go talk this week. You ready? Good old fashioned. Start, bench, release.
What?
Start, bench, release.
All right.
NFL.
Are you
You
gonna
just
give
gonna
us
give
the
us
players'
names?
names?
Huh?
Are you gonna give us the names, or you gonna give us their stats?
Giving all stats.
Bro, you change. Okay, never mind. Come on,
I mean, then you guess the players, and then
bro. This about to be 30
What
minutes.
sport? Football?
It won't. Football.
NFL?
So it's got to be NFL. It's only men's. You know. Ain't that what you say, Boo?
Yeah, hey, you took me off that. I'm sorry. You just,
It's only men's.
I can't wait till my next one. Y'all really about to
Lacrosse.
Y'all really about to
All right. We got player 1, 3-time Pro Bowl, offensive rookie of the year. Oh, no phones neither, man. No phones, man. Y'all be looking up the stats, man. Y'all be looking up the stats.
When we first started doing Go Talk, we really just used to get a name.
And I was looking up the stats.
We used to just get a name.
No
How the
phone.
hell are we supposed to figure this out?
got
No
the stats in our
phone.
heads.
No phone. I'm switching up the go talk.
This is. I'm using my phone. I don't know. But what you
I'm
talking about?
switching up the go talk.
I pay this bill over here.
Player A, 3-time Pro Bowl, offensive rookie of the year, career 10,967 rushing yards.
All right, we're going to find that. Look that up, Jack.
Obviously. Career 4,339 yards receiving, 49 rushing touchdowns, 15 receiving touchdowns. He has a total of 15,306 yards. 5 1,000 yard
You
plus.
said how many yards rushing?
I ain't repeating it.
10,000 something, man. 10,000 something.
Retired in 2008. All right. Player B.
He retired in 2008.
I know what he is.
Player B. 5-time Pro Bowl, 1-time Super Bowl champ. I'm not giving y'all that. 78 rushing touchdowns, 13 receiving touchdowns.
That's Tiki Barber.
Nope.
The first award done.
Yeah.
Second one, 80 George.
Come on, man. Y'all. Come on. Let me get done. All right.
Do we got the first two?
No, it wasn't Eddie George.
Okay.
You said 1-time Super Bowl champ?
Yep. 5-time Pro Bowl.
Oh, that's not Tiki.
He's got a total of 14,891 yards. He's got 7 1,000 plus yard rushing seasons.
Oh,
Retired in 2001.
that's what's that
Ricky
pick?
Waters.
That is correct.
So we got Ward Dunn, Ricky Waters. Okay. Who's the next
All right.
person?
Player C.
We got C's?
Yeah, we got a C this week. 4-time Pro Bowl, 1-time Super Bowl champ, 7 1,000 plus yard rushing seasons. He's got a total of 13,154 yards.
Ooh, Marshall Fall.
Close, but no.
Damn, that was close.
Yeah, he was close actually.
Adrian James.
Nah, that was too easy.
Fred Taylor.
Now you just guessing guys, huh?
I mean, they all right bunched up. Yes. What was you at?
It wasn't Fred Taylor though.
It wasn't?
No.
Oh, damn. Gotta keep guessing. Was it the Juice?
Kevin Falk. No mind.
Yeah.
He said I was close. I thought it was the Falks.
Damn, they had me exit out of the program.
They were Falks.
Kevin Falk, he played for the Pats.
He did.
Man, moved 2 miles an hour. Was it the Juice?
Oh,
did.
come on, man.
You said one-time Super Bowl champ.
Yep.
How many Pro Bowls?
4.
It ain't Marcus Allen.
Jamal Lewis?
Nope.
Ray Lewis.
Running back, dude. Running back.
Bryce. Listen.
One
Ray
ring,
Rice.
one ring?
Ray Rice. That's what Ray Rice.
Yeah,
Said one ring?
We not uppercutting nobody.
Y'all
One
are
ring?
mad.
For
Wow,
Clay C?
dude.
That's my boy though.
One ring?
Yeah, 1 ring.
He said, boy.
How many Pro Bowl?
4.
Corey Dillon.
Just about to say that.
Ugh, that's nasty.
So
All right, so we got Corey Dillon. We got Ricky Waters.
And Ward done.
And Ward Dunn.
And we got a start, bench, and release.
Oh, Lord Jesus. This is not easy.
Starting Ward done.
All right, so
You starting Ray Lewis.
All right, so hold on. So
Kevin Falk.
So I gave y'all hold on. So I gave y'all too much information on player A. So I'm gonna give y'all the rest of the information on the other 2 players. Ricky Waters has 10,643 yards rushing, 4,248 receiving yards. He's got 78 rushing touchdowns, 13 receiving touchdowns. Corey Dillon has 11,240 yards rushing. He's got 1,913 yards receiving, 82 rushing touchdowns, 7 receiving touchdowns.
Hey, Will, who we get that Super Bowl with?
Who, Corey Dillon?
Yeah.
New England.
Ward Dunn played the longest out of all of them.
Starting Ward.
He's got the most yards too.
Releasing Ricky.
Now rushing yards.
He's got the most total yards.
Yeah.
You might want to do your Googles.
I'm starting Ward. I'm benching Corey. He could be third down back. And I'm releasing
Googles,
Rick.
brother. Do your Googles.
If I gotta choose between them 3, somebody gotta go. There's no good decision who kick out, right?
You know what it is.
What'd you say, Boo? You say you starting Ward,
Starting Ward, man, Ward was a beast.
you benching Corey,
Benching Corey, come off the bench.
and you releasing Ricky.
Somebody gotta go.
I'm going to start Ricky Waters. I'm going to bench Corey Dillon. I'm getting rid of Ward Dunn.
We got the same bench player, so that's cool.
Tough.
I'm getting rid of Ward Dunn.
You disrespect Ward, but it's cool.
No, no.
You didn't mean it.
You got
He got the least amount of 1,000 yards.
You got to do your Googles,
He got
man.
the most yards though.
We got the most yards.
Yeah.
Most total yards.
He got the most total yards, but Ricky Waters was still good at catching the ball out the backfield. Corey Dillon wasn't the best at catching the ball out the backfield.
You know, he was awful.
Also,
He was awful.
Why you on the bench?
But I'm not. I don't. That's the thing about it, right? Like, do I need a pass catching back, or do I need a back to come in for short yardage and be able to hit the hole and make it happen? Because Ricky Waters is still a 3-down back.
and he was in Tampa Bay. Don't forget they had that boy Mike Allstott.
Yeah, Mike Allstott was
Fullback.
he was clearing lane.
Well, that's why he has 49 rushing touchdowns and not 70 and 80 like the other.
So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what you got. Like Ricky Waters was a 3-down back. I don't necessarily have to take Ricky Waters out the field. If I take him off the field, I can just put in Corey Dillon. Period.
5-time Pro Bowl.
You might know that I'm just gonna run it, but good luck stopping Corey Dillon. Good luck.
Yeah, Corey Dillon was a beast.
I'm releasing Ward though. No hard feelings, but you know you got to go. Got to go.
What you got, Dougie?
I am.
He might clear waivers. I put him on the practice squad.
Come on, man.
Whew. Tough.
Ooh.
Releasing Ward.
I'm gonna start Corey Dillon.
You starting Corey Dillon?
I'm starting Corey.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Corey Dillon. I'm gonna bench Ricky Waters.
Everybody want to release Ward, huh? Disrespecting the greats.
And I'm gonna let go of Ward Dunn. Ricky Waters better run that dope back, boss. And I put that on my Maybach. Ross had a line about Ricky Waters too.
Exactly why he getting released.
Miami
No, he's talking about Ricky Watters. He's talking about the Cowboys. He was talking about teams Ricky Watters played for. I think he was just using that as a bar. Yeah. That was just a bar. Yeah. Philly and then Seattle. Yeah, so I'm starting Corey. I'm benching Ricky Watters and I'm gonna release Word Done.
Come on, Five, come through. I know you got some great sense over there, man.
So I'm starting Ricky Waters.
So you gotta really release some Corey. I'm just cool. You know what? Gotta be coming off the bench.
I am benching Corey Dillon.
You was a little attack against me.
And I am releasing Ward Little Guy Dunn.
You gonna send an Uber for
I
him?
ain't calling little guy.
You gonna send an Uber for him?
I told you I'm putting him on my practice squad. You know, I hope he clear waivers.
I don't know who team he going, but he got to get the hell off my team. Okay? And I'm gonna roll with Waters. Ricky was a monster.
Yeah.
He was a monster. And I hate to say this, but he might have did benefit by playing on one of the most talented teams.
Who Ward?
No, Ricky Waters. Yeah, maybe ever. But he still was great, even after that. And Corey Dillon, like you said, they will. You hand it off to him, he hit the hole.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, over 1,600 yards.
Good luck.
That was with the Patriots.
And Ward just
It's crazy, ain't it?
Ward
That's
just
crazy.
They roll him off.
How you go?
He was a problem child in Cincinnati.
Bro, that he had a career high in New England.
He was a problem child. He was a problem child in Cincinnati.
Undefeated. You heard it here first.
Ward just couldn't get it. Ward couldn't get it done well, he probably could have got it done in the red zone, but we just never know.
You never know.
Mike Allstein.
It's too light in the pants.
Mike Allstate. Then when he was in Atlanta, who was the other running back with him in Atlanta? It was two backs. It was
Ward?
Yeah, it was Vic, quarterback. It was Ward Dunn. It was
Jamal Anderson.
No, not the dirt. No, that was the '90s, man. Was it? It was the dude. Man, who was on that team? It was another back that he was. Hold on.
You looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now, man. They roster.
Talking about his last years?
Them prime years with Vic. Oof.
I don't know. It might have just been worth
T.J. Duckett.
Who?
T.J. Duckett.
I don't even remember who that is.
I mean, I know who T.J.
Yeah.
Duckett is, but I mean, he only had 500 yards.
They used him though. That was their two back. It just wasn't Warren by itself. Duckett was and he wasn't no fullback. He was just a like strong up the middle guy.
He still had less touchdowns than Dunn, but he was taken away from the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Dunn had 9. He had 8 1 year. His best year though in Atlanta.
He had a year where he almost rushed for 770. He had 11 touchdowns one year.
Who
Yeah.
Ward done?
T.J. Duckett.
Yeah, Duckett was
That's
taking
what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. Dunn only had 3.
yeah. They running game was number 1 in the league.
They didn't. People didn't have trust in them getting done in the red zone, so I'm gonna go with Waters. I'm gonna go with them. So I know can get it done.
And Boo, who do you have again?
I had start Ricky, mentioned Corey, and I got rid of Ward.
Lying like a rug, ain't
We're gonna go back on the tape and
Oh, yeah, he's lying like a rug.
Yeah, Ward done started. Ricky Waters was coming out of the bench.
And Corey Dillon was.
Take the Patriots approach. I take everybody that you don't want. I take them, make them great. See, I'll take all the greats. I take Ward.
They don't take the players that you don't want. They never mind.
Follow us on social media, Twitter at Goodfellas87. Goodfellas is spelled with a 3 instead of the E. We will be putting out producer applications immediately after this show. Follow us, like us on Facebook, Goodfellas Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Goodfellas Podcast, and then also follow us on Instagram. We on Apple Podcasts. Hey, what they got to do?
Subscribe, rate, review.
And check out the SoundCloud page. Y'all got any shout outs?
Yeah, I got a shout out.
All right.
Today is my cousin Dion's birthday. So shout out to him. If you don't know, if you were at the wedding, he's the one that caught the gardener.
Okay, the garter.
The garter?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's the one who caught the garter. That's my cousin. So shout out to him. Yeah, he's out of Dallas, so he's down there partying. So I just want to wish him happy birthday.
That's
33rd birthday, actually.
Okay, pippin' you. Hey, Will.
I don't have no shout outs. No shout outs.
Shout out this week. Shout out Kanye. Shout out Kanye. Shout out Sunday service. It was dope. I appreciated that. Did you see when they showed him walking through the crowd and they said he was like Moses parting the Red Sea on the shade road? Hey, that shit was funny as hell. But shout out to Ye.
I'm going to tell you shout out who did not shout out.
Channel 2.
Do not shout out Channel 2 CBS, who I interviewed with, and they did not put me on television.
You know why they put you on there, right? Because you had some ignorant people in the background during your interview. They was cussing. You know, you can't edit that. Can't bleep that out.
First of all, if you watch the news, Kanye had that Caucasian band on there to take away from my time. You know, why he couldn't go get nobody else on the drum line? That's your boy.
But no, when he went to that church after that, it wasn't nobody. It was brothers and sisters playing.
It was my what's the name?
Yeah.
It was one of my wife's friends' church actually.
Yeah.
She was actually there.
He had some. Hey man, it was dope, man. I know a lot of people trying to like, oh, is he? You don't do that. Hey man, that was a good praise and worship. That was good. 1 hour, get in and get out.
I ain't had a problem with him putting them white percussionists out there.
I couldn't see that far ahead.
Could have went to Thornridge or Thornwood or something.
Yikes.
Got the drum line or something, man. Come on, man. Crystal Lake? Come on.
Yikes.
Crystal Lake?
The singers was black though.
Crystal Lake?
Hey man, singers was black.
Oh my God.
Booth, you got a shout out?
You ain't did nothing this weekend? You doing anything this weekend?
Where you going? Tell the people they can catch you at, man.
Hmm?
Tell the people where they can find
Where
you.
get you at, man?
Tell them where they can find you.
What parties we at this weekend?
No, don't get shot out.
Red Cup Karaoke.
Come on.
I
What
go,
you doing?
I go with DMs and let them know individually.
We at Red Cup Karaoke this weekend?
It's Friday?
Yeah.
He gonna say it's Friday like he ain't know it was Friday.
Yeah,
I like
he
it.
knew it was Friday.
See what's cracking.
Look, he's shy. You
I'll
see
be
him?
out-
Like,
I'll
he
be
don't
out
want
there
to say
though.
what
I'll be
people.
out there though. I'll be there.
I wish y'all could see
Yeah,
this right
yeah.
now. You acting like such a sucker.
I'll be out there.
Oh man, such a wimp. All right, we will be back next week, same time. Don't forget to let us know on social media if y'all want us to discuss any particular athletes for the Go Talk. And yeah, other than that, stay tuned. We gonna stay tuned with the social media. We gonna update some more content. We gonna put your interview up there too, man. We gonna give you the shine. You know, I put it on my personal page, but we gonna give you the shine, man. That you deserve. Put it on the Goodfellas page. Should put it on there. Can we put that on IGTV? That's what we gonna do. So we gonna do that. Y'all be on the lookout for that. And until then, until next week, love, live life.